Good morning, everybody. I'm Sean McDonald. We are on the air with breaking news. Governor Sununu is about to hold a press conference about the state's response to coronavirus. Let's listen in.
Great. Well, good morning. Just 2 weeks ago, New Hampshire was presented with its first case of COVID-19. Seeing what the lack of an appropriate response has resulted in other parts of the world has really forced us here in New Hampshire to make some very difficult decisions to help ensure that we can stop the tide of this worldwide pandemic in our own communities. These are extremely tough decisions, from instituting remote learning for our kids to limiting large public gatherings, and last night, now requiring restaurants to go to a takeout-only service across the state. None of these actions are taken lightly, and we understand that all have an impact on our citizens. Taking these swift and decisive measures also means we can now focus our attention on relief opportunities. With me today are Senate President Donna Soucy, Speaker Stephen Shurtleff, Republican Leader Dick Hinch, New Hampshire Department of Employment Security Commissioner George Kapadas, and Deputy Commissioner Richard Lavers. While the legislature is out, it's important for citizens to know that our policymakers truly are working together in a collective all-hands-on-deck effort. Today, I'm issuing 3 additional emergency orders that will provide relief for those affected by COVID-19. We're taking steps to help Granite Staters, ensuring they have the support and services for themselves, their families, and their businesses throughout this crisis. First, all providers of electric, gas, water, telephone, cable, VoIP, internet service, and deliverable fuel services will be prohibited from disconnecting or discontinuing service for non-payment for the duration of the state of emergency. Second, for individuals and businesses, landlords will not be allowed to start eviction proceedings for those unable to pay rent due to their financial situations. Also, all home foreclosure actions within the state of New Hampshire will be prohibited during this state of emergency. Third, we're trying to break down barriers and wait times and expanding unemployment benefits for our citizens. The order I'm issuing will allow individuals who are unable to work or who have reduced hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic to access unemployment benefits. Because of the action being taken today, individuals that find themselves in any of the following situations are now eligible for unemployment benefits. If your employer temporarily closes due to COVID-19, individuals that need to self-quarantine or are directed to quarantine at the instruction of a healthcare provider, employer, or government official. Individuals that need to care for a family member that has COVID-19 or is under quarantine. Individuals that need to care for a dependent because of school closures, child care facility closures, or other similar types of care programs can now also apply for unemployment benefits. Self-employed individuals that are temporarily unable to operate their business because of any of the above listed situations will now also be eligible. Individuals will need to file each week of temporary unemployment, and filings may be done over the phone or online. People can do all of this online from your home or internet connection. The website to access is www.nhes.nh.gov, and the phone number to call is 603-271-7700. That's 271-7700. The waiting period for receiving benefits for all of these situations will also be temporarily suspended so financial relief can be quick. Earlier today, we also officially submitted a request that the administrator of the United States Small Business Administration provide SBA economic injury disaster loans to small businesses across New Hampshire. Additionally, we're making it easier for Granite Staters who may need to use DMV services. While DMV offices remain open for all transactions, New Hampshire DMV 20-day plates will now be given automatic extensions through April 30th, 2020. Driver's licenses and non-driver identification cards that are expired or set to expire will now be eligible for a 6-month extension. Customers who'd like to take advantage of this option can simply call 227-4020, that's 227-4020, to complete their 6-month extension, and they don't even need to visit a DMV location. When Granite Staters come together, we truly set an example for the rest of the country. These actions will help provide the necessary relief for individuals and businesses that are being affected by COVID-19. I'm now going to turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Richard Lavers from the New Hampshire Department of Employment Security to discuss some of the details of the unemployment benefits.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. So the good news here is the state's unemployment trust fund is in solid shape. New Hampshire is one of 31 states nationally with a healthy, solvent trust fund, and that is according to the testing and review that is done by the U.S. Department of Labor. To put this into perspective, New Hampshire started the last recession with a trust fund balance of $270 million. We are now, today, have a balance of $300 million going into today's activities. That being said, we are hopeful that the federal government will take the action that they have been discussing, and that we will be able to see some version of a disaster unemployment assistance program to assist Granite Staters and to provide some relief to our trust fund as we progress through this crisis. I cannot stress enough the importance of individuals accessing benefits and filing for these benefits by going online. It is a simple, straightforward process. As the governor had indicated, that website is www.nhes.nh.gov. Individuals can click on the link to file a claim for benefits, and they can take care of everything right there through the website without having to go into an office or without talking to an individual. This is critical so that we can avoid further exposure while still providing access to these critical benefits. However, we understand that for many, they will need other options in order to get their questions answered and claims filed. That is why the governor has created the new unemployment assistance hotline that is up and running as of this morning. So again, to reinforce what the governor has just described in talking about who are we talking about in terms of eligibility for unemployment benefits. Well, if your employer temporarily closes, either partially or totally, for whatever reason, you are already eligible to file for benefits, and individuals should be doing that. The additional coverage that the governor is providing through the order issued today is that we're talking about workers that have a partial or complete loss of earnings as a result of any of the following situations related to COVID-19. Individuals that have a current diagnosis of COVID-19 and need to quarantine. Self-quarantined or quarantined at the instruction of a healthcare provider, employer, or government official. Individuals that need to care for a family member or dependent who has COVID-19 or is under quarantine. Individuals that need to care for a family member or dependent who is unable to care for themselves due to a COVID-19 related closing of their school, their child care facility, or other type of care program. And lastly, for those that are self-employed and business owners that need to temporarily close their business, they will now be eligible for unemployment to the extent that their situation fits in with those categories. Further, as the governor has indicated with this order, we are temporarily suspending the waiting week so that individuals will be eligible for benefits during that first week of unemployment without delay. This will allow us to provide critical resources right away at the onset of a reduction in work for those individuals. Lastly, the governor has been very careful to make sure that employers are not shouldering the full weight of these additional benefit payments. Benefits paid pursuant to this order will be directly charged to our solvent unemployment trust fund rather than to the experience rating of individual employers, which would cause their tax rates at which they contribute to the fund to increase. Further, for those that are nonprofits that reimburse the fund, those charges will be directly charged to the fund rather than those nonprofit employers needing to pay back the unemployment trust fund for all of those benefits paid out. again, a very important point for those businesses. We are confident that by the governor taking these actions in order to provide replacement income through the unemployment system, that this will help to facilitate effective quarantining for those that feel they are unable to quarantine for fear of a loss in income. In times such as these, the unemployment program is an incredibly valuable resource for our local economy. And by the governor's actions today, we are assuring that it is available for our workers in the Granite State impacted by this pandemic.
We're going to open up for questions, and I just want to reiterate a huge thanks to the folks at Unemployment Security, the Attorney General's office, Taylor Caswell over at the Department of Business and Economic Affairs. Everyone has really come together to figure out how this would work, make sure that we can provide these opportunities, if you will, these benefits, these relief efforts. There's still a ways to go here. We still know we're in the first steps and the first miles of the marathon, as we say. We're in very uncharted territory. So we have to make some bold decisions. Again, having some of the best and brightest work with us has been a tremendous opportunity. I want to commend also Senator Donna Soucy, Speaker Shurtleff, Dick Hinch, Chuck Morse. All these folks have really come together and been part of these solutions. They're at the State House working hard. I know that while the legislature isn't in session, these folks have been working hard with us step by step. And again, ensuring that that constituent service is there, getting that feedback so that we're making the right decisions, being part of that protocol. And again, it's really been a very good team effort here in Concord. And so folks should know their policymakers are truly working together. And we're all in this. As I said yesterday, when we stick together, when we do things as a community, we do it really, really well. And so far, we're weathering this storm, I think, with great dignity. And we just want the folks around New Hampshire, within their communities, to know we're with you. We're with you every step of the way.
Please. We've never accessed unemployment insurance before. We'll just walk through, and maybe Rich will do this, walk through step by step what happens. You go onto the website, and what should people expect to happen? How quickly should they expect to get these funds, and what should they be expected to provide?
Thank you. So again, so folks that are filing for the first time, they would go to www.nhes.nh.gov. That will bring you to the Employment Security homepage. On that page, there is a very high-profile, clickable link for an individual to click on to file for their benefits. That brings them to a page that is entitled the Workforce Connect. That page then allows them to register in the system. From there, they then go in, file their initial claim for benefits. So we collect information about the individual. We collect information about their work history during the prior 5 quarters, so we can determine exactly how much they are going to be eligible for in terms of unemployment benefits. And then for each week of temporary unemployment that the individual is experiencing, they would then go back into the same system, same website, and file what we call their continued claim. And that continued claim is what would trigger the payment of their weekly benefit amount that would be direct deposited into their bank account.
How long would the trust fund be expected to hold up under these expanded eligibility circumstances?
Well, we are always in the process of stress testing our trust fund. We know that through the independent analysis done by the U.S. Department of Labor, we are currently solvent. They come to that determination by looking at the 3 highest benefit payment years occurring in the last 20 years for the state of New Hampshire, and then they compare that to what our current exposure is. Exposure where we are an insurance program, they look at total wages paid to determine that exposure. So they are saying that right now with what we have, we are solvent. We have to keep in mind that through the version of disaster unemployment that we are hopeful will eventually get passed, that we will see some relief for some of these benefits that are now going to be going out that wouldn't have otherwise gone out. That will provide some relief. But again, New Hampshire is in a very solid position compared to other states in terms of how we are going into this. And that is simply because where we have been 4 years at unemployment under 3%, we've been able to grow our trust fund, and it is now here for this type of situation, which obviously none of us could have predicted.
Can you say say, like in a typical week, in a normal week, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, how many people in New Hampshire would be collecting unemployment benefits? And do you have any sense of a week from now, how many you expect?
Well, I can tell you, and I try to, we try to base all of our decisions on real hard evidence and what we are seeing and not speculating as to what might happen here. What we have seen is that prior to the COVID-19 related impact, we had about 500 individuals filing initial claims each week, and that we had around 4,000 individuals who were filing continued claims each week. We look back to the recession. During that time period, we had about 4,000 people filing initial claims each week, and then 35 to 40,000 people filing continued claims each week. So we've been at a very low volume for a good deal of time. Fortunately, the department has a very experienced workforce that dealt with high volume during the last recession, and we are ready to handle the volume that we are anticipating coming in starting this week with a lot of the developments that we've been hearing about.
The governor mentioned self-employed people, the new gig economy that's expanded since the Great Recession. What would you say to people who are in that position? They don't have the traditional paperwork that you would have. What tips can you give them, and are they going to encounter problems as they try to enter the system?
Yeah, so we're going to be working with those folks. That is why the hotline that the governor has created, the Unemployment Assistance Hotline, is so critical, particularly for those individuals that don't have experience with the unemployment system or who are accustomed to not being eligible for the unemployment system. So similar as a self-employed individual could file under a disaster unemployment assistance program, we will be looking at information that they have to document their income during that base period, during those 5 prior quarters, and then it will be based upon that income and what they're able to show to us that we're then able to determine what their weekly benefit amount is going forward.
Just to follow up on Adam's question, you mentioned stress testing, but just what have those stress tests revealed in terms of how long this fund could continue to be used as it's currently $300 million, I think you said?
Again, I tried not to speculate too much in terms of what type of volume we might see. I also want to keep in mind that we are going to see, hopefully, relief provided through a disaster unemployment program, where that's going to be a reimbursement back to the state through FEMA for a portion of those benefits. But we look at situations that we have experienced. Right, so we look back to modest recessions that the state has weathered well, and we look to more serious recessions that the state has weathered well. New Hampshire always, for our most recent recessions, our unemployment rate does not reach the levels you see in other parts of the country, and certainly doesn't reach the level of the national unemployment rate. During the last recession, New Hampshire reached an unemployment rate of 6.5%. During a more modest recession like we saw back in the early 2000s, that was an unemployment rate in 4.5% range. We are right now at 2.6%, and I can tell you when we try to determine the duration of these higher volume of payments going out, at both of those levels, the trust fund continues to stay solvent.
If you have a situation where there's a parent who's now at home with school-aged children who could work some hours but can't work their full hours, can they somehow work it so they are on partial unemployment rather than going to a full unemployment situation?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So not only are you eligible through total unemployment, meaning you're totally separated temporarily from your work, meaning your hours have been eliminated and your earnings have been eliminated, but you're also eligible based on partial unemployment. So if you have a partial reduction in your work hours, you are eligible for a portion of your benefit. Individuals in that situation, they need to be answering questions for the department through the regular claim filing application, letting us know how much they're working and what they're earning, because those earnings obviously will influence what their total benefit amount is. But through that partial unemployment, it will provide additional assistance to try to fill up some of that gap in lost earnings that an individual experiences because of that reduction.
And how would an individual, do they have to provide particular evidence if they're under self-quarantine or if they've been instructed to self-quarantine? there's obviously a lot more categories that this order is opening up. So how does the department plan to field those requests, and what should individuals provide?
So we're going to implement this in a way that simplifies the process as much as possible. We know that it's difficult for a lot of situations for individuals to be able to provide that documentation, and we certainly don't want to be creating additional exposure and requiring them to come into the offices. So this is going to be questions that we're going to be asking of the individual. We're going to be following up with them, but again, there's not going to be a requirement for additional paperwork having to be delivered to an office. We're going to be working with the individuals to address that.
What's the average payout for unemployment insurance per week?
The average weekly benefit amount right now is $333. The maximum weekly benefit amount in New Hampshire is $427 per week.
Do you anticipate adding more staff in your department?
I would defer to the governor and policymakers here in the discussions that they're going to have.
Sorry, stay right there. Yes, absolutely. So, don't go too far. The answer is yes. So again, whether it's folks working within the call center to provide that one-on-one connectivity so folks can call in, making sure that the claims are being processed quickly, because there's going to be obviously a lot of claims that we understand are going to be coming in. We're streamlining the bureaucracy, so we think that helps the citizens as well as the staff here just to move things quickly. But one of the powers that we take very seriously is the ability for me to move state employees around quite a bit. And so we had a meeting with all of our commissioners yesterday afternoon, where we talked about some of those pushes and pulls. And there are certain departments, even within state government, that again, some of the more non-essential personnel or personnel doing jobs and tasks that are going to be put temporarily on hold are going to be moved around, whether it's to the 211 call center, the unemployment call center, providing more of the customer service supports. We can quickly retrain and get our staff mobilized to exactly where they need to be very quickly.
So, Governor, you had said prior to spelling out some of the particulars on the unemployment benefits that you were, hoping to know more about what is coming out of Washington on this front. What are you anticipating on that front?
So I was on the phone with Senator Hassan yesterday afternoon. We talked about a couple different things. First, we have the bill that's where they're trying to move through the Senate that the President would like to sign. That provides some initial relief possibilities. I know Senator Schumer, just talking to Senator Hassan on the Senate side for now, but Senator Schumer is putting together a bill with a variety of different opportunities in terms of business or individuals. We talked a little bit about the disaster relief that will likely, and we anticipate, coming out of FEMA to help resupply some funds back into our unemployment fund. So there's a variety of things that are going to be coming. I think they're just starting to scratch the surface, both in terms of understanding we're at the beginning of this pandemic and what we're seeing here within the United States, as well as some of the financial relief and some of the bureaucratic relief that we anticipate to come. So we're in constant contact with our teams in Washington, with the administration itself. Everybody understands this is something to really push every idea, every opportunity forward. They're really leaving no stone unturned.
Were you on the call with the governors and President Trump yesterday?
I was.
And how was it? What did you learn? Anything back for us?
There wasn't a whole lot. I mean, we've been in pretty constant contact with the governors. I had a phone call with a lot of the governors last night as well. We've been in a lot of constant contact there. So, I mean, it was a good kind of roundup discussion. Some of the more key issues that we've been talking a lot about are first testing. There was a lot of testing entering into the private sector, and a lot of testing opportunity for providers to take those tests and get them tested, and with turnaround days and within 2 or 3 days, which is a huge opportunity. Here in the state, we have other hospitals that are looking at setting up their own testing labs, and hopefully those will be up and running to give us faster turnaround. So on the testing side, where I think we were a little more panicked about it a week ago, we're already seeing some very positive progress. PPE, we talk a lot about making sure hospitals and healthcare workers have what they need on the front lines to deal with this crisis. So we've had kind of a run within the provider world of everything from surgical masks to the N95 masks to gowns and things like that. We have more PPE coming into the state literally as we speak, and the folks at Health and Human Services will be working to distribute that as needed. So again, in the short term here, I think we're in a pretty good situation with our PPE.
Some of your governors objected to the conversation about getting respirators and saying to you should get them for your state.
So
some of the governors said, no, he's right, it cuts the red tape.
So one of the limiting factors we anticipate down the road could be the respirators and the ventilators for hospitals. We have a good supply today for what our needs are today, but the needs are clearly going to increase. So when it comes comes to healthcare providers and hospitals, we're already building contingency plans if we were to need more beds. Where would they go? How would they be expanded? We're working on that right now, and we feel comfortable we can provide a lot of that new excess capacity that may be needed if this crisis were to really hit true epidemic levels. Secondly, on the ventilator side, we're making our requests. The federal government's making their requests. It isn't just us or them. I think everybody's working, public and private sector, to get more ventilators, which we think could be one of the limiting factors way down the road. So we just want to be prepared if and when this thing should really exacerbate.
You say making requests to whom?
To manufacturers, to distributors, to the federal government. I mean, anybody who could possibly provide some of these ventilators and respirators is, we're talking to everybody.
You know, a lot has obviously changed and continues to change, but you wrote to lawmakers last week saying that, you know, there's going to be a hit on state revenues and basically to prepare for the possibility of budget cuts. I mean, what's going on that front now in terms of preparing?
Again, we've talked to all the different agency heads. We're halting right now new hires. We're putting a freeze on those new hires. We're putting a freeze on non-essential expenditures. We're putting a freeze on interstate travel for our employees. We're putting a freeze on capital projects that, again, haven't started yet. We're making sure that we're going to lock up those funds. We're really going to leave no stone unturned. This is going to have an economic hit in the private sector. It's going to have an economic hit at the state level as well. So again, we're looking at everything from reducing the non-essential services of the state, the most critical services, I should say, making sure we're getting the manpower exactly where it needs to be and we're spending the money exactly where it needs to go, so that not only do we get through this crisis to manage the viral epidemic, but we're getting through this crisis managing the societal impact, whether it's to businesses or families who are going to be affected. Tens of thousands of families are going to be affected by this. We're very cognizant of that. That's why these decisions are incredibly difficult. We look at every aspect when we make a decision, every algorithm, every scenario, every pro and every con. And at the end of the day, these are tough ones, and we know people are going to be impacted. But by making those swift and tough decisions today, whether you're talking about the budget in the state or what's going on with providers or going on with businesses, again, we can move forward like we are today with some of the relief efforts, get some of the feedback, and hopefully get to a place where, again, we're managing through this new norm. It's going to be a new norm. Hopefully it's temporary, but there is a new norm that we all have to accept a little bit of sacrifice for, so that others can get the services that they need.
Question on the unemployment insurance fund. My understanding is that there's a trigger in state law that kicks in if the fund goes to a certain level. Is that trigger, has that been contemplated in this order? Is that going to be waived?
You're talking about the taxing trigger?
Sorry, the tax trigger, yes.
Yep.
If the trigger is met, the fund goes below, then the taxes of business go up. Is that seem to be an issue moving ahead?
So there are several triggers that control or are designed to control solvency with the unemployment trust fund. Right now, the triggers that are in effect are actually reducing employers' tax rates as they're designed to do, because the fund grew to what had been determined to be a solvent level. So the rates at which employers are paying into the fund are at historic lows. As the balance in the fund drops, those reductions to employer rates, those go away as well. So the reductions that employers have right now, just to give you a scenario, if you are a new employer, you start at a 2.7% tax rate for unemployment comp, and you pay that on the first $14,000 in annual wages to each employee. Right now, because of the solvency of the fund, that employer has a 1.5% reduction. So they're actually at 1.2% in that rate. As soon or if the fund drops below $300 million, those reductions go back from 1.5% to 1%, and then go down to 0.5%, and then are eliminated entirely when the fund falls below $250 million. At that point, then employers have no reduction. And if the fund falls to $150 million, employers then have a 0.5% surcharge added on to their rate to, again, help grow the fund. And there is an additional 0.5% surcharge that is in existing statute that the department can implement if they feel that the initial surcharge is not enough to help with solvency.
So right now, all those triggers are in effect, even with this expansion, just to be clear.
Correct. Again, those triggers, Again, remember, employers pay into that fund on a quarterly basis, so they're not necessarily daily revenue coming into that fund. And as the balances in the fund drop, New Hampshire, through our statute, is nimble enough so that we adjust on a quarterly basis. That is not true for some other states throughout the country who are only able to adjust on an annual basis. We feel we're in a stronger position because we're going to see those adjustments happening quarterly.
Governor, are you looking at the possibility of using state facilities, whether it's National Guard Armory or college dormitories, for additional bed capacity if this does?
We're looking at all options, public and private. Any facility that is adequate, that is safe, where you could potentially put expansion of beds if it were needed, where those plans are already underway. Those contingencies are being made as a fail-safe, if you will.
Can you help clarify, and I realize the public health folks aren't here, but Dartmouth College says one of their graduate students tested positive. It's unclear, is that within the 17 cases that have been announced by...
I'd have to defer to the folks at Public Health in terms of the individuals. Right now, as of midnight last night, there were 17 official cases. I'll defer to Public Health on any individual questions about where they're from.
And do you have a sense of how many medical providers across the state are under quarantine?
Medical provider? You mean like healthcare professionals?
Yes.
I don't have that information off the top of my head. Okay. Sorry.
I believe there's some New Hampshire residents who were quarantined on one of the cruise ships. They were in Georgia. They are expecting to come back today.
That's right.
They had some delays. Have you had any involvement? Have you spoken to them?
Yes, I haven't spoken to them directly, but our office has been involved in ensuring that they're able to be transported back safely, securely. They'll go into a quarantine position when they're back into the state, and they'll be under monitor.
I have a question for Senator Soucy and Speaker Shertler. I was actually at a fascinating civics debate last night at Castro Cigars in Manchester, and the people that were asking basically, how can the governor just do this? And I said, well, the states, but they were. The question came up, well, what's the legislator's role? Where are the voice of the people in this balance of checks and balances that they all learn? I got to tell you, it was a fascinating conversation for a bar. They were very well informed, proof that New Hampshire should be first in the nation, but they asked a question, what is your role as the governor uses extraordinary power at this time?
Well, as you know, there are 3 separate branches of government. The legislative branch is a separate and distinct branch. Right now, because of our size and because of the advice from health officials, we are unable to convene in formal session. But part of the reason we're here today is because we have been in constant communication with the governor. We've been fielding questions from our members who are getting them from constituents. We've been trying to help inform decisions going forward. But the governor does have powers as the executive, which he is exercising here today, and I believe will continue to. And we are here to support and inform those decisions as much as we can based on the information we're getting.
Speaker?
I would just say that the governor is using the powers granted to him under the Emergency Powers Act, and they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I think this picture of the leadership, both Democrat and Republican, and from the New Hampshire House and the New Hampshire Senate, standing with the chief executive, is the message that we are united in the leadership of both the executive branch and the legislative branch, are committed to work in solidarity for the best interests of the people of New Hampshire.
Well, we've got you up there, Mr.
Sure.
Is there any contingency plan to reconvene the legislature in separate rooms, perhaps, with 50 legislators per area? Is that a possibility moving forward?
As we go forward, anything is possible. Nothing at this time, Adam, but as we move along, because with 400 members, we do have that issue. We'll stay in recess until it's appropriate for us to come back to Concord and get back to work. But that's something we'd consider along with anything else.
In the hours since you announced, this is the governor, I'm sorry. In the hours since you announced the emergency order on restaurants, you heard back from business owners and restaurants?
Sure. Look, as soon as we made the announcement, I was on the phone. I was proactively calling a lot of the businesses, the restaurants, and kind of fielding their feedback. I think it's very tough for a lot of them, to be sure. I think they all, for the most part, understand it. They understand why some of these actions have to be taken. I think in the past 2 days, we've gone from no states doing this to pretty much 3/4 of the state's doing it, and my sense is ultimately everyone will be, where we are today. One of the governors on a call last night said, if you're making a decision as a governor in this situation and you feel comfortable about it, you're too late. And there's something really to be said about that. These are very, very tough decisions. We haggard over this one and went back and forth with the pros and cons, talking to everybody we could to figure out what those variables would be. These are really tough. These have direct impact on people's lives. So again, I don't want to say I'm happy to hear that they understand it, because it's so tough for them. They're laying off a lot of their employees. We get that. But people do understand that social responsibility, and we are in uncharted territory. So I think that the sooner we take action like this, the sooner we can get out of it.
Are you hearing any reports of potential closures?
Of businesses?
Yes.
Oh yeah, there are some businesses where the model just won't work. There are a lot of businesses that closed even before we made this announcement, frankly. We had talked to civic leaders. We talked to folks in Portsmouth and Manchester yesterday. The folks that have higher densities, a lot more restaurants and bars in those areas, got some of their feedback to help inform our decision in terms of what they were hearing as well. So again, while we, the executive, the governor's office is kind of working in close quarters in the State House, we're working with the legislature, working with civic leaders, we're working with businesses. We're really trying to get all of that stakeholder input before we make these very serious decisions.
And finally, people looking to San Francisco and the West Coast, there's been some shelter-in-place orders. I'm wondering what is the criteria in New Hampshire for that kind of action to be taken if it needs to be?
We are very fortunate that we are not in the position as some of the larger communities on the West Coast are. And as you're referencing the fact you have an area of 7 million people that are quartering in place right now, that's unprecedented, and it can be very scary. We're not there. We are not yet in that position. God bless it. Could we be someday? I suppose. I think anything is possible at this point. We're not looking at that right now, other than to say, if we were to get there, how would it work? And so we are looking at how that would work, because it would be irresponsible to take anything off the table. That's something I think we've all learned in the past week. Whether you talk about restriction of travel, not just internationally, but nationally, whether you look at what's happening to businesses, what shelter in place really means. I think we all have to appreciate anything is possible at this time as this epidemic continues to grow throughout the country. I think, and I know, we are going to get a point where we start getting numbers to go down. We're going to start getting a sense that there is some calmness, there's some control here, and that's why we've put a lot of these positions, actions in place for about 3 weeks, because we want to stay nimble. As Deputy Commissioner Lavers talked about, we have nimble systems in this state, and we're very fortunate that way to do that. And so that's a responsibility we take on, so that we're in constant communication with the decision makers, and we can constantly reevaluate again, so we can make the best decisions for the state and the citizens of New Hampshire.
I mean, right now Cannon Mountain is open with some restrictions. The language on their website says, basically this is your call. What's your thinking on that?
Well, again, when you look at the idea of putting 50 people together and those restrictions that we're putting on things, I think there are 4 ski areas throughout New Hampshire that are open. Cannon is one of them. I think most of them are doing kind of grab-and-go food service. Luckily we are in kind of a spring skiing condition, so they can do that with a lot of flexibility. You're not going to get a lot of conglomeration of individuals under one roof necessarily. They're out. Folks are out in the fresh air, usually with other people that they know. So, if that's their decision, I support the decision. In terms of Cannon, that was our decision as well. And right now, we think we've put the measures in place to folks to allow to come up to the White Mountains, enjoy some recreation, and do it in a safe way based on the restrictions we've put on the rest of the state.
And have you contemplated any changes at retail locations in terms of liquor stores?
In terms of liquor stores, no, not right now. I mean, very rarely do you have more than 50 people in a store. Those restrictions don't apply to private business, and so no, we're not contemplating any of that.
That was a question about last night about it felt arbitrary to some people that it's restaurants and bars. What about malls? What about the DMV itself, where people tend to congregate? It's still open.
No, it's very much not arbitrary. We're looking at all the data. We're looking very clearly at what's happening in Massachusetts. The fact that I know I've been a little busy. I forgot to wear my St. Patty's Day tie, but it's been 24/7 for a few days here. One of the issues of St. Patrick's Day that we are hearing is that you're potentially, because Massachusetts had already created those restrictions, you're going to get a large influx of individuals out of Massachusetts into Manchester, Portsmouth, some of the southern tier cities, which could cause a lot of commingling in more of a party atmosphere, tight quarters with folks from an area of a much higher infection rate. That's just the fact of the matter. So that data really came into play into making this decision and ensuring we're not putting people into a dangerous situation. So the timing of St. Patrick's Day, what Massachusetts had done, the fact that we are a state, unlike some other larger states like Texas or Oklahoma, we have such common interstate travel over our borders. All of those factors and those data points are brought into consideration before we make any serious decision.
Just in terms of schools, to what extent is internet a problem in New Hampshire for some of these schools that are trying?
So where there is internet connectivity, not so much for the schools, but for the citizens, for those kids who are at home right now, where there is unreliable or breaks in the internet connectivity, we have the ability to do it. We'll call it the old-fashioned way. It's just as good as the internet way, with books and pencils and papers. We have folks that we're putting together in terms of delivering that homework, making sure that connectivity with the teacher and the kind of virtual classroom, if you will, that those teachers and those students are there. So we're working with a lot of those communities right now, specifically up in the northern tier. It's kind of fortunate in that to take a step back, there's a large investment going on with our FirstNet mobile cellular system and communication response system, which is allowing better commercial connectivity with broadband and cellular service in those areas that typically had worse service, so Coos and some of the areas in Grafton or Cheshire, Sullivan County. So we're making those investments and have been making them over the past few months. So we're in a fortunate position there, but we still appreciate there will be gaps. But all those districts are being worked with to ensure that connectivity, education is a priority. And parents should take some solace in that we are really making sure that we can do it. There's flexibility that we're asking with the schools, flexibility we're asking with the parents and the students, but education is going to continue. I'll take one more. Yeah, sure.
There's been a lot here. What's your status on the New Hampshire National Guard right now? Is there a readiness level? What sort of threshold would have to be met for them to be activated?
Sure, we can activate the National Guard at a moment's notice if we were to hit those some type of emergency. But we have an assessment of the skill set. Right, most of our guardsmen and women have private sector skill sets. Some are truck drivers, some are healthcare workers, and so we have an assessment of where all of those skill sets lie, so that we can redeploy them if necessary into the settings that might need assistance. We have, whether it's vehicles or things of that nature, also at the ready. So we're in constant contact with General Michaelitis. And again, we can mobilize those assets as we need as it grows. We haven't had to do that as of yet, but as we create more opportunities for folks in their communities, we may do that. And again, it's more of almost a customer service response, right? We're going to help the private sector get products from A to B. We're going to help people understand how to navigate through some of the new processes that we have. And if we can call up some of the guardsmen to do that, we're going to do it. Great. Well, thank you all very much. Again, there's a lot of information here. We're trying to kind of be aggressive about providing these relief services in a variety of different ways. We really encourage people to pick up the phone, call the phone numbers, use the websites. We want to limit the necessity for people to come in to the direct offices. We want to streamline the process and just make sure that these services and benefits are being provided very quickly to the people in New Hampshire. Thank you all very much.